I think I was turned to Super Saiyan. Every video I fail! God. I just want that blonde look, you know, turn Super Saiyan. Anyway, today, great book. But didn't finish it yet. Still a great book. You know. The Dark Night of the Soul. Now, when we're talking about the Dark Night of the Soul, it's I think an individual experiences, right? We all have different experiences, you know. It could be that your marriage is falling apart and you're getting a divorce. It could be that night of the soul. Dark night of the soul could be you had a job and you did that for 10 years and you've been laid off, you've been fired. That could be a dark night of the soul. Or you love this person and you were in a relationship with that person, and what happened is you were so close together that when you break it off, that's the dark night of the soul. So now, though, I would like to talk about this dark night of the soul, you know. Now, of course I have a video about, you know, spiritual awakening, but this is different, you know, the dark night. Now, I will talk about more about this book, but today I'm just talking about the dark night of the soul and how it feels, and what can you really do about it if you actually go through the dark night of the soul. Embrace it. Experience it. I didn't. I remember when I was in the dark night of the soul, it was the most painful thing that ever happened, you know. I remember when I went through it, you know, I didn't know it was called the Dark Night of the Soul until I went through it. But what happened was, you know, my ex-girlfriend, you know, broke up with me, and she meant the world to me. And, you know, she broke it off. And she, you know, she was the person that I want to be with for the rest of my life. But I guess that didn't happen the way I wanted to, you know, because, you know, we were always arguing, but nonetheless I love her, you know. But I guess I wouldn't say it wasn't meant to be. I don't believe in that. I used to think that she was the one for me, you know. I used to believe that, you know, because we had good time. Of course we had bad time, but because we were always together 24/7 back when we were in boarding school. What happened is that when I start to leave, you know, when I start to graduate from my boarding school days, everything, I mean, I tried not to, you know, cry on the bus, try to hold it in. Here's the thing, real men cry, so just put it out. And you know, last day I remember, you know, she told me that we weren't gonna, lastly, the day before, 2 days before I graduate, I remember the last night we hang out, well, we actually hung out at that time. I remember she told me it was too painful to be together, so she told me that she was crying, and of course I hugged her and, you know, kissed her on the forehead. And I told her, and she was crying, and she said no, she couldn't, well, I can't remember what happened, but I remember she was crying and I kissed her on her forehead and on her face. And she told us we couldn't like see each other the next day. That was her plan, because she said it was too painful because I was gone. So what happened was we didn't see each other the next day, but then her friend made this card for me, and what happened is I saw her, I started to cry, she started to cry, we started hugging, and so we ended up like hanging out together. But anyway, when I went home, you know, I tried to my best to do well. I don't want it to do what most people do. Will go get a job or go to college. People say that's what you should do. I said that's not what you should do. What you should do is to play around. What you should do is not what follow everybody else do. What everybody else do is not how you should live your life. You shouldn't follow the norm of what everybody else does, because it's not your path. Your path is something else. But so I remember the day that we broke up was heartbroken, and my world just shattered every day. I couldn't live with myself anymore. I started to feel like the world is going like wrong. I felt inside hurt. I mean, at the time I had a job, but every day I was hurt, and I didn't want to deal with it. That was my dark night of the soul. And I asked, when was it gonna be over? It lasted for 2 or 3 years, sometime more. But I lost a sense of self. I lost who I truly was. And when that's why I'm thankful for her for breaking up with me. And I said that through my other video. But I'm thankful because when she broke up with me, I have to find out who I really was. I didn't know who I was lost. I feel a sense of I didn't belong in this world. I cursed it, God. And you say, how could you do that? Because when you're hurt, when you're in a place of your heart been shattered, and there are days when you don't know, you don't want to get back up again, you don't have a sense of purpose. I didn't. A long time ago I never had ambition. So I believe that was a weakening for me. So, dark night of the soul is where your old self is dying and your new self is being reborn. That's why they said you must, metaphorically, you must die daily. The renewal of your mind. Not as in, violently, but the renewal of your mind. You must renew it. You must become awakened, because the dark night of the soul is about changing your way of life. But it's whatever. It's about what you believe in been shattered. That's what happened to me. When you go through the dark night, it's as if the wall of the thing that you used to believe in just shattered. For me, the dark night of the soul was everything. My meaning, I had challenges from everywhere, from the whole situation with my ex, broke up, families, school, situation that was, for some reason, it was so hard that I was beginning to break down, and I couldn't find. It was like I was trapped inside. It was like when. But those time of the dark night is about becoming. It's like you're like a we're like a cocoon. You're about to be reborn to a butterfly. That's what it really is. The dark night is about emerging into who you really are. A spiritual being with a ridiculous, amazing power within you that you have not discovered. I realize that we human beings can cause things to happen. We don't have to be a victim. When I realized when I was in the dark night of the soul, I remember that I believed that a long time ago. I believed that things were chaos. I was a victim. No, not a victim, but a victim of my own mind. That's what truly is. People are a victim of their own mind, you know. And what happened is this, that when you go through the dark night of the soul, things fall apart so you can rebuild your newer self. And when you go through it, you begin to become awakened to the fact that this universe, this world that we live in, is truly amazing. You know, Gabby Bernstein and Vision, he had the book about the universe has your back. As if the universe has your back. You know, when I was going through the dark night and going through the challenges, what happened is I began to be awakened. You know, I wasn't lost anymore. I began to discover my spiritual side, my spiritual nature that we all have access to. I discover the natural laws of this universe. Not physics, of course, but not. I haven't read deeply on physics yet. But the spiritual laws that govern this universe. And there are laws. You know, I discovered that we humans are vibrating at a certain frequency. Therefore, we attract certain people into our life. We have this universe is cause and effect, right? Now, if you want to change your life, you have to change. Not if you want to change the event, the circumstances, and the people, you must change. Not the event, you cannot change, but you have to change where the cause is, the cause and effect. And the cause is you, so you must change the cause, and as you change the cause, as you change you, the event, the circumstances changes, because you change. And these laws of nature that we are in, if we can get in harmony with these laws, things will. You think you will have serendipity, coincidence, what happened. That's what happened to me when I become awakened to my power within, not power, but we do have a power within us. That's why Jesus said, there's a kingdom, I forgot what he says, but there's a kingdom of heaven within you. That is your subconscious mind. And when you discover that there's worlds beyond ours or whatever, you know, there's subconscious mind, spiritual laws, that there's knowledge, spiritual things outside of us that we aren't aware of. That's what happened to me. So, as Bob Proctor said, you know, during those years of hard chaos, those are the good times that you have, because though it may be hard, you know, I'm glad that I went through the dark night of the soul. It may be hard on me. I'm glad that I didn't give up, because I was able to become aware with spiritual nature or infinite intelligence. That's where I start to develop my intuition. You know, I become aware of my connection with the universe, because the universe can hear your every thoughts, your words. We're vibrating. We have auras around us. We attract things into our life, whether we like it or not. But we can change our vibration, right? And then when you start to see, that's why when you start to read deeper into most people get afraid of the word occult. You know, secret society, but occult mean hidden. You know, hidden from the view. Hidden, like the knowledge that we should have. You know, it was funny. My brother were talking about forbidden. You know, and we look up the word forbidden, not to touch or something like that. And most of the thing that were men, you know, they have man-made laws, you know, those laws, and then they have the spiritual laws of the nature, you know, spiritual laws of nature, or mental laws, you know, the Kabbalion They have the 7 Hermetic principles or philosophies, mental laws that enable you to live in life of happiness, joy, right? That's the life that you should go toward. But most people live not in harmony with the laws, they live against it. That's why their life is always in chaos. But chaos is good. Dark night is the chaos which rebuilds you, which will cause you to change and enable you to advance in your life. Dark night of the soul is basically making you aware of another place of you, another place of where you're truly, who you truly are. And as you go through it, you don't know that it's where most growth happens. Your mind starts to change. You start to see things differently. You don't take things for granted, because most people do. So that's it for today. I will do a talk on the Dark Night of the Soul. Great book, by the way. Great book. If you're going through the Dark Night of the Soul like I have, you should read this book. Though I have not finished it, but it's still a great book. And you'll be like, how you did it? Because, look, when I read a book, I take what's good and I sink it in my subconscious mind. So remember, any chaos, any bad thing that happened, there's a good inside. There's a good, for every bad, there's a good. So look situation for the good in it. And as the chaos is, you will see that the chaos that you had change over time. You will see that was good for you. You begin to grow. That's what happened to me. You start to change and you start to apply spiritual laws of the nature of the universe into your life. I'm probably going to do more Dark Night of the Soul videos in the near future. So this one is just a sample here and there, and not dig deeply into it. But anyway, if you're into personal development, into spiritual development, growth and self-help, subscribe to my channel, like my video, because this is what it is. It's about growing you. It's about becoming more of who you truly are, that you are a powerful human being. So I see you.